Hi, and welcome to a short presentation about the disappearance of bees in the United States. You may wonder why plants produce flowers. In fact, they produce the flowers to attract insects and other pollinators to feed on nectar. The plants offer the nectar as a reward, and in the process, the insects get pollen all over their bodies. After they do that, when they visit the next flower, they pollinate that flower. This fertilization process in plants is critical for their ability to produce fruits and seeds. Here we see a cucumber growing from a fertilized flower. When plants are not pollinated, they don't produce fruit. So for example, here's a zucchini, and the image in the background is a fruit that's been pollinated, and in the foreground is the same fruit, same age, without pollination. It doesn't produce seeds because the plant doesn't invest energy in producing fruit. There are many types of bees, but the most common, and the one you're most familiar with, is actually the European honeybee. It was introduced to North America with settlers, and they introduced it as early as the 1600s. European honeybees are the most efficient pollinators, especially for large-scale cropping, because they form big colonies and they're able to recruit other members of their colony to a pollen resource. But there's also many native bees, including bumblebees and carpenter bees, some of these things that look kind of like honeybees. They don't form as large of a colony, but they're important to many native plant species, and they also help with agricultural crops. The native bees are suffering declines, and they have been for the last 100 years, with numbers estimated to be 50% of what they were in the past. Unfortunately, in recent years, European honeybee colonies have also been declining. This phenomenon is called colony collapse disorder, and no one knows the reasons why, but here's what happens. The worker bees disappear, and they leave behind the nectar, the pollen, and the brood until the hive dies out. So this is what it looks like when a beekeeper opens up a normal hive and one that's suffering from colony collapse disorder. This was first noticed in about 2011, and you see that the total annual loss has increased across these years. So the number of bees disappearing has gone up. And agricultural biologists and entomologists are very worried about this trend because without bees pollinating our crops, there's few alternatives. One alternative is to use hand pollination. So here, a person is using a paintbrush to go around and collect pollen from male flowers and then visit each female flower to make sure that fruit occurs. If we move to this process, our grocery stores are going to look much like this, with much fewer fruits and vegetables available. And of course, the limited supply means that there's going to be more cost associated with those fruits and vegetables. How important are bees to North American agriculture? It's estimated that 1 in 3 bites of food is a direct result of honeybees. So here is a list of all the different kinds of fruits and vegetables pollinated by bees. Most of your fruits, apples, grapes, peaches, passion fruit, watermelon. Most of your vegetables, including broccoli, cauliflower, cucumbers, celery. Most of your beans, lima beans, soybeans, green beans. Much of your oils, so canola and alfalfa and sesame and sunflower, all depend on bees for pollination. If they disappear, our agricultural economy is in a lot of trouble. What can be done about this? Many are arguing for increasing the amount of organic crop production. Organic crops are grown on a smaller scale and with less pesticides. The smaller scale means more variety of crops being grown, and that means more resources for bees, native and introduced European honeybees. It also means less pesticide in the environment, which has been linked to declines in bee population. Unfortunately, there is a cost to that. You will have to pay more for fruits and vegetables pollinated on organic farms because there's less being produced. And it's the same problem as if bees disappear. I hope this overview of the problem makes you think about your next meal and the importance of insects to pollinating our fruits and vegetables.